Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vermonton Management. Today, we're going to talk about how to choose an IPA. First, what is an IPA? IPA are independent practice associations that serve as the negotiating muscle between private practices and insurance companies. The main goal of an IPA is to improve your contracts and pay rate. Here are some IPAs you could call and look into. Corinthians from the Bronx, part of a larger IPA called Somos. Excelsior, part of a larger IPA called Somos as well. Excelsior is from Queens. IPA of New York, Bronx United IPA, Might Network Management IPA. Since these organizations are still evolving and improving their reach, finding them can be a bit tricky. Do a Google and AI search and start calling them. Also, if you have any contacts in the healthcare industry, you could call them as well, ask them, try to investigate, because these organizations are also heavily on word of mouth. So definitely leverage as many connections that you have to find information about them and to actually find them. At the very least, these are the questions that you should ask them before contracting with them. The very first one is, which insurance is the IPA contracted with? Sometimes an IPA can get contracted with 5 out of 10 insurances or 8 out of 10 insurances, and you have to do a mix between IPAs, 8 IPAs with one, 2 with another one, or also a mix with direct contracts, depending on your specialty, depending on many factors that we're going to consider right now. The second questions are, which insurances are you contracted via capitated contract? Capitation means that you get paid one fee per month per patient, regardless if you see this patient 100 times or if you never see these patients. And which insurances are fee per service? Fee per service means that you get paid for the visit for all of the procedures that you did, and that is based on the insurance rate, and that insurance rate is the contract that you sign. Now, the third question is, what are the capitation rates per insurance? You need to know how much you're going to get paid per month per patient, and what is the percentage increase rate on the fee per service agreements. The role of the IPA is to increase how much you're getting paid. So if an IPA is not increasing this is a good indication that you perhaps need to compare with other IPAs and keep shopping. Fourth question, if you're capitated, do you have any bill above agreements? Bill above agreement means that aside from getting the monthly fee for the patient that is assigned to your practice, you get paid for certain procedures. For instance, procedures could be doing an EKG or administering vaccines. Anything that you do very often, sometimes the IPA has the ability to negotiate with insurances and get you paid for that specific procedures. This is great because this only increases your revenue. The other question is, which insurances are you contracted to get the New York State HEDIS Quality Measure bonus? These bonuses are tied to HMOs based on what is the percentage of high quality medicine that you deliver to your patients. One of the things that private practices get great on is what is the percentage of patients that are assigned to you as a clinic did you see for a preventative visit that same year. If you hit that percentage along with other measures that are also part of the whole calculation, but let's say you only have that measure, just to simplify everything, and you hit that percentage, then the insurance company is supposed to pay you a bonus because you hit that measure. You're one high performing clinic. You're doing exactly what New York State is asking you to, which is see the patient preventatively to avoid the patient falling into the emergency room and costing more money to the state. So because you hit this and because you're helping the state save money, you enter this bonus. So you need to know which insurances the IPA is contracted with to get that bonus. And if the IPA is not contracted with the insurance or is still negotiating, you need to have that visibility, because that bonus is oftentimes the difference between just staying afloat and thriving. Or it could also be the difference between closing shop and actually staying open. Because in capitated contract, even though you get a very steady cash flow, it doesn't vary. Well, the pay per patient hasn't increased in years, and is actually something that could be definitely more. So knowing what contracts your IPA has with the insurance companies for that heating measures, it is extremely important. You also need to know if they pay on time and how long do you have to wait to get that bonus. You also have to know if they get a cut. You also have to know if they provide any scheduling service or any supplemental data support or any other support here. So for a scheduling service, if you need to see out of, let's say, 5,000 patients, 77%, well, if they provide you with a scheduling service, well, you're saving money because now your front desk or your call center doesn't have to do that, right? So that is something extremely important for you to know. Supplemental data means that is the information that the insurance companies are missing from you to improve your percentage rate in that bonus. For instance, let's say the insurance is not counting 10 patients, but you already saw those 10 patients and you already sent the claims, and the insurance is still not showing you that they have processed those 10 patients, then you send that as supplemental data. If the IPA is able to help you with this at no cost, then that is absolutely great, because you don't need to spend money on this. And then what other support do they provide here? Because it is also in their interest to have practices that are performing well. You need to perform well in this quality measure, because that is, to an extent, what the state considers what good medicine is. And you need to deliver good medicine for your patients. So knowing what other support IPAs provide here is extremely vital, because this saves you a lot of money directly, but also it saves you a lot of time from you, and you don't have to come up with all of these workflows. So it really, really, really helps you to know if they provide any support in this bonus. Now, the other question is, do you provide any risk associated bonuses? Risk associated bonuses mean that, to just overly simplify everything, let's say the state gives the insurance companies $100 to spend on the health of patients in New York. And let's say they spend only $80 delivering everyone's health throughout that year. That $20 that is left gets divided between the insurance company and IPAs and private practices. You need to know if your IPA is currently either negotiating contracts with this, is currently participating, or if there is anything that you should know associated with this, because this is also another bonus that could be the difference between you closing shop and staying afloat, or just improving your operations or just paying your doctor. So knowing this is very, very important. Another question is, do you provide any financial support into getting into programs like PCMH or any other federal programs your clinic may qualify for? So your clinic may qualify for other federal programs and other state programs that are not the HEDIS quality measure or the risk bonus. Knowing if they provide any financial support or any administrative support here or hands-on support, it is extremely vital, because these other federal programs that increase your revenue can also be extremely beneficial for you to not only stay afloat, but also perhaps open clinic number 2 or clinic number 3, or it could be the difference between you and being able to pay higher wages for your employees and foster a better environment for everyone. So knowing if they support you here, it's also vital, and it's also a question that you should be asking, and it's also something that you should be aware of. PCMH stands for Patient-Centered Medical Home. Since I forgot to say that. Now, the other question is, do you have access to the latest New York State fundings, or are you aware of them? New York State is always coming up with creative ways to support their population and increase access to healthcare. So, knowing firsthand through your IPA and knowing fast, being one of the first clinics that knows the inside of what's going on in Albany with New York State, it is vital for you to have access to that funding and to participate into with all of those initiatives that the New York State and the cities are also coming up with. So you need to ask them if not only do they have access to those new contracts, but also if they're even aware that these new contracts, these new initiatives, anything that is new, if they're aware of anything that is new coming up from New York State. Last but not least, what other administrative support do you provide? It could be credentialing support or recredentialing support, or it could be marketing support in terms of, well, we'll help you with your flyers, or we will host events with you, etc. So IPAs, aside from improving your contracts and improving your pay rate, they also, a lot of them, serve as your partner, helping you along the way become better administratively, because they live off us having healthy clinics. So they should support you having a healthy clinic in any possible way. And running a medical practice is extremely heavy administratively. So taking some of that way can be the difference between you having a practice that is only getting by to having a very, very well-oiled, thriving practice. If you have any questions about IPAs, what else you should ask them, what are my preferences, what IPA I'm part of, feel free to reach out to me and we'll continue the conversations. If you have any comments, any corrections, anything that you would like to say, please drop it in the comments.